Okay, hello Paula. Okay, good. So we are recording. As you know, this Hangout will be available on YouTube and is viewable on YouTube right now. So welcome to Satsang. A reminder that what you truly are is not an event in time and space. You perceive a world, body, mind, thoughts, sensations, mentations, perceptions, memories. But you can do so without defining yourself. You do not need to define yourself as anything. You can remain undefined. You might wonder if it's possible for you to function in the world without being defined. And the short answer is yes. You can test it out. Right now you hear these words, but you don't hear them as a man or a woman. You hear these words directly without any definition, without any self-definition. Self-definition is an afterthought. There is a purity to presence. There is a freedom to presence. There is a joy to presence. There is intelligence to presence that does not require anything from you. The less of you there is, the better off you are and the entire world is. In our culture right now, we have a big veneration for the me, for the hero, for the individual. But the true meaning of individual is indivisible. Wholeness, beingness, presence, totality, completeness. That is the true meaning of indivisible and of what we refer to as the individual. Now the journey from the me impression to truth is a journey from the sense of separation, the sense of angst, to freedom, happiness, joy, bliss, and love. That is the journey. There is no other journey. There is no other path. There is no other direction. There are no other goals. All other goals that the mind imagines, they are sub-goals to the ultimate goal, which is the goal of complete liberation, of the complete realization and fulfillment of the self. Along the path, you will encounter many seeming obstacles. These seeming obstacles, they seem to be so real. are feelings and emotions, because nothing is happening to you. Nothing is happening to you as consciousness, to what you truly are. What you truly are is untouched by whatever events are happening in the mind. Like in the night dream, the dreamer is untouched by whatever it dreams. But along the path, along the journey, along the exploration, the contemplation of the self, you may encounter many seeming obstacles that you have to go through. You have to sort of travel through them and come on the other side with the realization that you really went through nothing. Nothing. Like you go through a cloud, you imagine that it is something, but it's really nothing. It's just air, moist air. The cloud may have the shape of a dragon and it feels very scary. But when you approach the cloud, it's just moisture, thin air. But when you hold back, you're trying to preserve me. You're trying to preserve your feelings. And when you are trying to preserve your feelings, you maintain them. And when you maintain your feelings, you maintain the me, the sense of separation, and the sense of lack and unhappiness. So there is a question that somebody sent me, but I will address it a little later. For now, if there is anything you would like to explore, any questions concerning your contemplation or whatever is arising in your life, this is a good opportunity to address that. So I welcome your questions or comments.
Magdi?
Hello, Ananda.
Hello. Something I've been really considering here the last recently. Sorry, I'm on a small device here.
Okay.
Something I've been considering is that emotion. I've heard you say recently that emotion, giving it overdue importance, causes the feedback loop of, oh, here's the emotion, here's the response to a situation. It seems to gain more and more gravity and be kind of the anchor in the body mind belief. And I find that I've been working. I'd been off work for several weeks, and now I'm back. And where I was kind of almost, I could hardly relate to anybody saying, "Oh, I go to work, and now I can't keep clear." I'm actually kind of lost in the work mode, and I've been feeling some of that. So it occurs to me that it's the feeling, it's the emotional emotional latching into, am I doing a good job? How am I perceived? Or whatever. I'm just wondering if you can say something about that feedback loop that keeps that reinforces a sense of separation.
Mm-hmm. So I make a distinction between a feeling and an emotion. So if feeling is basically a bodily sensation with a me attached to it.
I'm sorry, Magdi, but your sound just cut out when you started talking.
Okay, can you hear
Did
me
you hear my
now?
question?
Yes, I did.
Uh,
Can you hear me? Can you hear
just
me?
a moment.
Okay, let me see. Maybe it's... Can you hear me?
It just went extremely faint, and I have no idea why.
Okay, let me try again.
Maybe someone
Maybe
else better
speak.
ask a question while I try to
Okay.
retrieve my
Okay.
volume.
Sure, that's fine. So let me know when you come back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I will hold off on Ananda's question until he comes back so that he can hear it live.
Oh,
Yes.
I think I'm back again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No?
Yes? Okay, well, let me know if you can hear me. I guess I have to keep speaking.
Excuse me.
In the meantime, if anyone has any other question.
Yeah, Magdi.
Yes.
Um,
Hello, Maru.
Hi. I'd like you to say a little bit more about this goal thing, because you just said we have the goal of liberation,
Yes.
but then sometimes we are or we heard about not having any goals, like like goals being like thoughts. So I had been in the last days noticing that I had like this hidden agenda of enlightenment
Mm-hmm.
when I do whatever, like when I come to a satsang or whatever.
Yes. Yes.
So I was just noticing it like a thought that was interfering. So I would like you to talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. Okay. Uh, everything that we do, Maru, in the world, we of course there are activities that are strictly for the organism, like we eat, we have to sleep, drink, clothing. No, that's there is a basic need that the body needs to maintain itself at a certain temperature, to maintain itself with a certain nutritive balance with its environment for it to survive. So that's quite basic, and that is built into the organism. There is no psychology around that. There is no me or you around that. We're all connected in that way, like the tree has its roots that go down to into the ground, and the leaves that look up to the sun to get the nutrition and to get the water from the roots and the nutrition from the earth. And like the animals go hunting, we are all connected in that way. We all have that similar physiological dimension. But when we're talking about goals and wanting and desiring, if you go around and you ask people what they desire, every person will tell you a different thing. Whether it's happiness for their family, they want more money, they want a better home, they want a better climate, whatever. You will find a lot of different answers. But if you ask a little deeper, Maru, you will find that behind all of these desires, there is one desire, which is the desire for happiness, the desire for peace and happiness, meaning the end of angst, the end of fear, the end of the bad dreams, the end of the me contractions, the end of that, just to be happy. We all want to be happy. That's the one goal that unites all of us, that makes us all similar. The goal for happiness, our love, the goal for happiness comes from our deepest being. In other words, we don't wake up in the morning and we say, I want to be happy. No, we don't. We wake up in the morning, we say, you know, oh, I want to go to work, I want to get a better job, I want to get advancement, etc. We don't think further, but when we look at it further, we find that actually we want to have a better job so that our family is happier, so our wife and our children and our husbands are happier, so that the entire situation is reflecting happiness. Now, desiring enlightenment or wanting enlightenment is wanting happiness.
It's hot, excuse me.
Yeah, right. There was a motorcycle. Right. Wanting enlightenment is wanting happiness. With an understanding. There is an understanding that the happiness is not in a house, is not in a husband or a wife, is not in money, is not in power, but it is beyond all of that. So in a way, the desire for enlightenment is also the desire for happiness, but it's a desire for happiness that it is more enlightened, it already is closer, it's closer to the reality and not closer to ignorance. Yes? So the desire for enlightenment is already a good step in the right direction. It is a step in the right direction. Now, it is still not the fulfillment. Why? Because our desire for enlightenment still has an assumption in it that there is somebody, a me, an I, that is not enlightened, that when I will have a certain experience, when I will achieve a certain refinement, or when I'll achieve a certain higher state, then I will be enlightened. Which is true, except for one error, which is the time, the error of time. I will reach enlightenment when I achieve this higher understanding. But the higher understanding is not achievable tomorrow. It is achievable right now. It is achievable right now. Right now, what you are, what you truly are, is nothing that you perceive. What you truly are is not something that you conceive. What you are is not something that you feel. You are that to which perceptions, sensations, and thoughts, mentations appear to. You are the reality that perceives, that knows, that experiences, but is not experienced. So, still in seeking enlightenment, there is a form of postponement. We are postponing to understand and to accept what we are right now. We are still hoping for it to be down in time. And the remedy to that is not to go out, but to turn within. To turn within meaning to turn right now to the reality of your experience, Maro. Right now, contemplate what is it that is real in your experience. Is the body what is real in your experience? Is the weather what is real in your experience? Is the house, the walls, what is real in your experience? Or is it consciousness that is real in your experience? You need to ask yourself this question so that you are clear about what is it that is real in your experience this very moment. That the reality of your experience is nothing that you perceive. The reality of your experience is beyond that, what we refer to as awareness, consciousness, presence. Yes? That is what truly hears. What hears these words is not a female or a male. The instrument may be a female, male, whatever. But you are not the instrument. You are that perceives, and you are that is aware of the instrument. For example, I am aware that this instrument is a male instrument. No big deal. Who cares what the instrument is? I am not the instrument. I am that perceives the instrument, and that perceives through the instrument the world, body, mind. But my perception of the world, body, mind through the instrument is not my only capacity. I have a capacity much bigger than that, Maru. And that capacity is to know myself. I do not know myself by looking at a tree or by looking at the moon or by looking at a beautiful picture. I know myself directly. I know that I am aware. Yes? Mm-hmm. I don't need to look at a tree or to look at a table or to look at a thought or to look at a memory in order to know that I am aware. Correct? Mm-hmm. You know that you are aware, and you know that directly. It's a direct knowingness. So the potential of consciousness is not just to know via the instrument the world, body, mind, but it also has a much larger and bigger capacity, which is to know itself. You can know the world, body, mind via thoughts, perceptions, and mentations, but you also know yourself directly. And it is crucial that you know yourself, because if you do not know yourself, we already are conditioned, meaning the brain, the world body, we are conditioned to identify ourselves with a limited mortal body mind that is inside the skin or inside the brain. That is our conditioning. So that conditioning is there, Maru. And if we do not contemplate what we truly are, that conditioning that I am a woman or I am a man, I am Megdi or I am Maru, takes over. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
So the contemplation is the contemplation of what is the reality of my experience? What is it? What am I truly?
So I really have been mistaking this, because this means the reality of my experience is not what I perceive,
No.
but the perceiver, so to say.
It is consciousness. And consciousness is consciousness. So it is a universal perceiver, if you want to say. It's not a personal perceiver.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes, the reality of my experience is not what I perceive, because what I perceive is constantly changing. And reality, Maru, does not change. What sort of reality is it if it's changes every 5 minutes? You see? So the reality is not changing, is unchanging. Yes? The reality does not get bigger or smaller. Yes? It doesn't get hotter or colder. It does not get older or younger. It's not a female or a male. It's not something that is born and dies. What sort of reality would that be?
Mm-hmm.
Reality is what is real, eternal, and always, it's always there. It's always there, and it's always the same, unchanging, ever present and unchanging. Yes? What is it that is ever present or unchanging?
Yeah.
You could say, some people may say, oh, well, there is nothing that is real. If there is nothing that is real and this is just a dream, then my question would be, well, there is something that perceives this dream.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say it's a dream and therefore there is no reality to it. The reality is not in the dream, but there is a reality to the dream. The reality to the dream is not in the dream, it is beyond the dream, but there is a reality to this. So that reality must be unchanging and ever present.
Okay, so when we focus on our perceptions or bodily sensations, that's not real.
The focus on the perceptions and the bodily sensations has to be a focusing from what is perceived back to the source. The focus is not from the source to the object. It is from the object back to the source. So it's a focusing this way. If you can, see my hands, it's a focusing this way, Maru. It's not a focusing this way. I don't know if you can see my gestures. It's a focusing this way. I would say there's more of a defocusing, a deconstruction, not a construction, a deconstruction. But I wouldn't say deconstruction. It is a relaxation, Maru, from the object back to the source. The source being consciousness. Consciousness is not an object. Consciousness being the borderless aware presence, a formless. It's a formless presence, but yet it is knowing. It knows itself. It knows that it is, like you are. Yes, you know right now that you are. I'm not saying you know that you are Maru. No, forget about that, or that you are a woman. I'm saying just you know that you are, meaning you know presence. You know that whatever it is that you are is. Yes, and you know that you are aware. Yes, you know that you are aware. You know that you are aware of this perception. Yes, and you know that you are aware that you are aware. You know that you're aware that you're aware. Yes. So these are very important clues. They're very important hints. They're very important. What do you say? Very important clues. I'm looking for another words I cannot find. They're very important clues to what you truly are. That you are the knowingness of the world, body, mind, and you are the knowingness that knows itself. Yes? And this knowingness, if you look at it, has no borders. There is no place where it starts and no place where it ends. Yes? It's not, you cannot say that presence or awareness is more to this side and less to that side. That is not valid. Yes? It has no borders, it has no forms, it has no weight, no mass, but yet, although it is not a form and has no phenomenal qualities, it is the reality of all appearances. It is the reality of all thoughts, of all meditations, and of all sensations. So rather than focusing on the objects, on the world, body, mind, rather than focusing on the thoughts, on the experiences, on the event, focus instead on presence. And what am I truly? What am I truly? And I am knowingness, I am this presence, I am this awareness. Always return to that, return to the self. Keep returning to the self. That has no form, it has no gender, yes? It has no age. It has no body. It is not contained in anything. It has no container.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Maru. Nice talking to you, Maru.
Thank you.
Let's see you soon.
Yeah.
Okay. We usually focus out of our conditioning, out of ignorance. We focus on the world, body, mind because we want something. Or we want to avoid something. So always our focus on the world, body, mind has a personal agenda. And to have a personal agenda, you have to believe yourself to be a person. And when you believe yourself to be a person, there is no contemplation. You are starting with, okay, I know what I am. I am a man who is born in 19 so-and-so. I am 180 pounds, whatever. So what sort of contemplation is there? There is no, you already have accepted what has been tattooed in you. You've accepted that to be the reality. So you remain in the ignorance and you're chasing that carrot. You're chasing, and your whole energy is being consumed and you're getting exhausted. Then you're going to fall down on the ground and you're going to be panting, asking for mercy. Somebody to give you mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Because you are starting with the impression and the belief that you are a person and you are not contemplating what is the reality, what am I truly. Just notice whenever you're focusing on the world, body, mind, on thoughts, on objects, on memories, you are desiring something or resisting something. You're desiring to change your feelings. You're desiring to change your situation. You're desiring to change the others. It's very unhappy. And as you know, I always mention that the path of unhappiness is not the path to follow. You have to follow the path of joy, of happiness, of love, of beauty. And you know it. If you listen quietly within yourself, you will notice what is unhappy. And when there is something that is unhappy, you remain in your stillness. You don't avoid it, but you don't try to fix it. You remain in your stillness and your complete vulnerability. You have to be willing to go through the crunch, the grind to notice that you are untouched, unmoved, unharmed. Because what you truly are is beyond the feelings and the emotions, and is untouched by the feelings and the emotions. You have to see it for yourself.
I still have something else to ask, because
Yes.
some other time answering a question that I had asked you, my summary of what you said was to stop the ideas about something and to focus on my and my reactions. Like when somebody said something I didn't like, instead of making a story that this person is not a person or whatever, focus on what was my reaction, which was all I had, reactions in this body.
Mm-hmm.
But from what you say now, I see that when that happens, I have to see the reactions and go beyond.
Yes. Well, you know, a reaction, Maru, at the body level, when you turn your attention at the body level, at the feeling state, you will notice, because the body speaks more truth than the mind. The body does not lie as much. It lies, but not as much as the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at the body and you can sense in your body what is going on, what is the feeling state. But it's when you come to the feeling state and you notice the feeling state, you have to take the feeling state, because the feeling state is a bodily sensation, Maru, with a me story. Oh, why is he speaking to me like this? Why is she doing this again? Oh, what is he doing? So there is a me story and there is a bodily sensation.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stay with the bodily sensation, because the me story wants to take you away from bodily sensation. It wants to take you from the body to the head, say, oh, she did this and he did that, and I should not have done this and she should not have done that. But if you go if you go from the bodily sensation to the me story, then you are moving away It's a way of avoiding. It's a way of avoiding to be present with the sensation. You have to be willing to be present with the sensation, but to be silent. To be complete vulnerability, not a trickery of the mind to try to find some kind of story out of it. You have to be willing to stay right there and allow it to kill you, not to run into some story about me in the past and I should have and she should have and why did she, why did I, why did not, what did I should have done this and not that. No. No avoidance. Just to stay still in the midst of the feeling. And you will find that the feeling, Mao, is a bodily sensation. Yes? So turn your attention now to the bodily sensation of your belly. Good. Turn your attention to your belly. Yes? We can all do that. Turn our attention to the belly. Just to sense the belly. Whatever it's doing. I don't know. I have no words. I just go to the sensation. And then I notice that the sensation is in the belly, but then where exactly is the belly? Where exactly is the belly? Where exactly is the sensation? You stay with that, like where really is the sensation? So you go to the belly without building any walls around the belly. Yeah? No, you don't build a wall. You say, oh, here is this wall and here is this wall and the belly is inside those two walls. No. You go to the sensation in the belly, but then you look and you see, well, wait a minute. Where exactly is the belly? Where exactly is the sensation? You will find that it's fluid. It is fluid. It's not exactly contained in a closed bottle. And it's not exactly contained. It's open. It's open. You will notice, and do that as we're talking now, all of you. You'll notice that the sensation of the belly is arising in a field, in an open field. It's an open, borderless space. Yes? Borderless space. And then you ask yourself, well, where exactly? I mean, is this sensation 10 inches away from me, or 5 inches, or 5 centimeter, 1 meter? Where is the sensation? You find there is no real distance. Yes? No real distance. Just an open space that is expressing itself as a sensation, and this sensation has no actual words for it. No words for it. Yes? You cannot lock it into any word. Of course, we use word to communicate now, but we're using the words like just to paint a picture. Like a paintbrush, we're using the words. You cannot really define the sensation in any way. And then you find that you don't know where it is. And you don't know what it is. And you find yourself just in not knowing, And not knowing is awareness. Awareness is an unknowing space. It's not caught into, oh, this is the east, this is the west, this is the north, this is a cup, this is a tip. No, it doesn't do that. It's just a love, beauty, peace, and happiness, well-being. You see, that consciousness is peace and happiness. Yes? So you can contemplate whenever things arise, in your experience. that there is a mind level, a mental level. Oh, why did I do this again? But there, more important is the feeling level. More important is the feeling level. Because if you say, why did I do this? And you say, oh, I should have done that. Oh, I did this because at 5 o'clock I did this and that. And then she called me. And oh, if she hadn't called me, tomorrow I have to do this. And oh, next time, oh, I lost it. You stay in the thinking, and you avoid the peace and the happiness. But when you turn your attention to the sensation, to the body, which is more important, the bigger part of what is happening, because the mind is trying to run away from what is feeling. Because we're not trying to have a great mind, we're trying to have a happy life. Yes? And the happy life is not in the mind. The happy life is in living it, is in how we live. Is the body is expanded, the body is happy, free, transparent, you see? So you turn your attention to the body. And you explore, like we did a minute ago, what is happening here? What is the sensation? So you locate the sensation. And then you ask yourself, well, what is the sensation? Where is it? What is its color? What is its shape? What is its density? What is its location? Etc. You will find that there is no word, there are no words. And you are in the not knowing presence. Mm-hmm. Because when we go to the mind, we maintain the me and the other. Me and she, me and him. The right and the wrong. And behind the scene is the contraction in the body that is not being addressed.
So what I see is that it's exactly the same as I have the story of I shouldn't do this, or I'm angry because this person should have done that. It's the same thing as if I said, oh, this person is me, is I, this is not a person in there, so this person doesn't know why she or he is doing whatever, because it's a story. I mean, when I try to see it through thought, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Okay.
You
It's
know,
the same, because one is a story of resistance, and the other is a story of trying to not resist, but it's also a story.
Yes, but it may be helpful. You have to experiment with it, Maru, to contemplate that we don't choose our thoughts. Mm-hmm. You don't choose your thoughts. You perceive the thought. You as a person, you don't choose your thought. You don't say, okay, I want to think this, and then you think it. Because if we could choose our thoughts, then we would choose happy thoughts all the time. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So you have to contemplate that we don't choose our thoughts, and if I don't choose my thoughts, then the other also doesn't choose their thoughts. What's the difference? Mm-hmm. So for me to understand that I don't choose my thoughts, and therefore how can I tell somebody, why did you do this? Because don't forget, Maru, that our actions follow our thoughts. For example, if we think there is a fire or there is a thief outside, we're going to call the police. If we think somebody is coming to have dinner over our house, we're going to cook some food. So our actions follow the thoughts. So how can we tell somebody, why did you do this? Why did you act like this? Given that we understand that they don't choose their thoughts. Just as an invitation to be more understanding that there is nobody who is trying to do anything to you, because there is really no personal intention. All our intentions are about coming to happiness, coming to peace and happiness. But we are confused. We don't know, we don't yet have clarity of how to come to peace and happiness. So we are running out, trying to get better partner, more money, better clients, etc. Which is fine to do, but it's not okay to do it as a condition for our happiness. It's okay to be living in the world and doing all kinds of things in the world, but it must not be a condition to your happiness, because if you don't succeed, then your happiness is kaput. If you're trying to get this house because you will be happy, or this job because you'll be happy, and somehow it doesn't happen, then where is your happiness? Or even if you get the house and you think that you got your happiness now, and then the house, a tree falls on the house, or the house has some kind of problem, your happiness goes from the top down, like that. So we are confused about which direction to look for our happiness, because we imagine our happiness to be out there, to be conditional. But conditional happiness is not real happiness. Happiness is unconditional, has no conditions. Because conditional happiness is not a complete happiness. So coming back to what you were sharing with me, that yes, it may be helpful to think of the other as myself. The other is myself. But if you are using the thoughts as a mantra, the other is myself, the other is myself, in order to ignore what's happening within you, what's happening in your belly, what's happening in your chest, what's happening in your face, what's happening in your feeling state, then it becomes a trick. It's a spiritual trick, but it's not. Spiritual inquiry is not about finding a trick. It's about actually coming to what you truly are, coming to an actual understanding that I am consciousness. It's not about any trickery to feel better. If you're trying to feel better, Maru, you are going in the wrong direction. This is not spiritual inquiry, and the contemplation of the self is not about feeling better. It's beyond that, way beyond that. So you need to be careful not to remain in the feeling state, trying to manage your feelings or trying to manage the feelings of others. That is not the business. It is not feeling management. Okay? Feeling management has its place. I am not condemning it, but I am just clarifying what the spiritual, what the contemplation of the self is. It's a different thing. Now the managing the feelings and so on, there is a whole field of psychological work that's available, and it's a good profession, and it helps people to better manage their life and their relationships, and it's all good. But it's not the non-dual path. And you know within yourself when you are using some kind of spiritual trickery to make yourself feel better or to avoid something. You know it. You have to be able to make that distinction for yourself. Because when you make that distinction for yourself, it's very important, because at that moment you say, okay, oh, Maru, here I am playing this game with myself again, you see? And because you are a serious truth lover, you don't want to spend your life playing games with yourself. You want to come to the truth.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Marwa. Okay, beautiful. Okay. Okay, there is a question that was sent to me. It says, Magdi, would you say a few words about when one has lost the world but still does not have a real taste of the soul? Say a few words when one has lost the world but still does not have a real taste of the soul. The difficulty in this. Well, when one has completely lost the world, then you are the world. The world dissolves in you, leaving no parts, leaving no pieces behind, nothing left to cause any difficulty. The complete dissolution of the world is the complete dissolution of duality, the complete dissolution of the external. An external reality is the revelation of the one reality that includes all appearances, all world, body, mind events. It is the revelation not that I have lost the world, but it's a revelation that I am the wholeness, the totality of being, a universal being, universal consciousness. It is the coming home, the final coming home, where there is nothing beyond that to create any difficulty. It's the end of all difficulties, complete ending of all difficulties, complete ending of any sense of separation, complete end of the me impression. So there is in the spiritual journey, let's say, an experience of a loss of the world, meaning there is a stage that we reach where the reality of the world is no longer has that opacity, that material quality that it had previously. It is understood to be a dream, and that the reality does not belong to the dream. But still, that is not the full merging. It's not the full dissolution, because the revelation of the wholeness and universality of consciousness has not yet come to its full fruition. But you are on the path. You are moving in that direction. Simply continue to contemplate without attachment to that state, without attachment to any experience. Let go of that experience. It delivered what it needs to deliver. That the reality does not belong to the world, that the world is like a dream. But continue to contemplate what is the reality that knows that. What is it that is aware of that? What is it that is aware? What is the reality of awareness? What is my reality? Granted that reality does not belong to the world, but still, the piece of the puzzle is missing. What is my reality? That piece of the puzzle is an important piece of the puzzle for you to come to your completeness. But it's not so distant from you, because this very moment you are aware. Not just aware that the world is transparent, but you're aware that you're aware. Allow this awareness, the awareness of awareness, and this awareness that has no borders, that is not a male or a female, to take root via your love for it, via your interest in it, not simply your interest in the dissolution of the world, but your interest in the reality that perceives. And the difficulty that you're experiencing is a consciousness nudging you to turn your attention away from this experience, not to attach yourself to it, and to contemplate the source. I hope this answers your question. Otherwise, please feel free to contact me again and we can go into it some more.
Are we still open for a question?
Yes, Ananda.
My question has morphed a little bit in the course of the satsang. I've been able to hear everything.
Okay.
And I found a headset.
Okay, beautiful.
And now I'm very keen to understand, after talking with Maru, what as I I go episodically into a work mode, which is puts a lot of feelings into the body, like into the belly in particular, perhaps, and the shoulders. Like one of my friends that does the same work says, you know, when I leave after doing an admission, a patient admission, my shoulders are up to my ears.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's that type of thing. There's the dealing with traffic, there's the dealing with emotions and people. So what I'm wondering about is the adding, when there's adding a stream of more emotional energy into the system, how it's a bit of a mystery to me how to deal with that. Now, when I'm quiet and sitting by the ocean or something, or even at home, and basically when my time is my own, so to speak, it's quite easy to be in touch with this spaciousness and let the observable contractions dissipate,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which I find to be a beautiful teaching.
Mm-hmm.
But this issue of doing activities that actually seem to upload more rather than offload.
Yeah. You know, the openness that you are talking about, that you are you achieve or you experience in your meditation, still has a closeness to it. There is a meditator. There is somebody who is experiencing an open experience, you see. And an open experience, no matter how open it is, has some edges, has some borders, yes? It is quite different from realizing that you are this openness, you see. You are this openness. It's an effortless openness. It's not an openness that is achieved via meditation or via any source of practice. It is simply noticing that you are this openness. Consciousness is open. Consciousness is complete openness. So there is nothing that you need to do to be open. Whatever you do to be open is still has a mind activity in it. It still has a mind influence in it. It still has a personal intention in it. So the openness of consciousness has no owner. There is nobody who owns it or nobody who is experiencing it. If you are experiencing a certain openness, if you're experiencing a certain openness, there is still a personal experiencer. So the openness of consciousness does not have a personal experiencer to it. It is inherent openness. So be watchful in your meditation that you are not pursuing anything. You're not pursuing peace. You're not pursuing an openness, because there is still some kind of contraction around any pursuit. And so when you leave your meditation and you are remembering a certain experience, that means you are still in the objective realm. You are still remembering a form. You're still remembering something. You do not need to remember the openness that you are. Consciousness does not need to remember itself. It is itself. So when we speak about remembering consciousness, we're actually speaking in negative terms. In other words, remembering consciousness means simply noticing that whenever you are moving away from consciousness and you are mistaking yourself to be a body-mind, you're unhappy. You're unhappy. You're unhappy. So contemplate instead, how come you are unhappy? So if you are unhappy at work, or you're feeling some sort of contraction, or your shoulders up to your head or something like that, you need to look at whose shoulders and whose heads are we talking about, because you are coming in with a shoulder and a head. You need to go in without a shoulder and without a head to your job, so that when you walk in the job, nobody is walking into the job. There is nobody walking into the job. There is nobody doing anything. There is just attending, meaning there's a need to fill this form, or I'm not sure, provide this remedy to this patient. There is a response that does not have any personal agenda. It's not about enjoying your work. It is about awakening to your true nature. It is about remaining as the self, remaining as presence, remaining as not as a man, not as a person, to be not as a person. So right now, in this very moment, you hear these words, but you're not a man. You see? It's not a male hearing or a female hearing. It's just a presence, just presence. So the afterthought that I am at work, or I am, that I, in this afterthought, is the body-mind. It is not the I of consciousness. When you say I am at work, you are confusing the I that is consciousness with the I that is conditioned, the Michael, or the doctor, or the patient, or the nurse, or whatever it is that you are confusing yourself to be. So you need to be a nurse without being a nurse. Can you do that?
Yeah, actually, it's much more enjoyable as well. You know, I mean, I know that's a secondary issue, but
yes. No, it's. I mean, that's a consequence. You see, we're not trying. We're not trying. It's not about feeling good, but when we live and think and perceive as consciousness, there is happiness. There is happiness. Yes.
Because, and it's we are.
Yes.
I was going to say it's because we are the happiness, and not because we're happier.
Yes, exactly, because now we are thinking, acting and perceiving as consciousness, meaning as happiness, as freedom, as inherent peace, as universal being, and there is a recognition that all of it is me. We don't need to think about it. It's at a subliminal level that it's all me, and there is just a responding. There is just at the body-mind level, there is a responding, but at the core level, there is no movement. Yes. So at the superficie, there is movement, but at the core, there is complete stillness. Yes.
I see. I'm beginning to have this feeling that you might say a desire to truly know, with no nothing in the way of the knowing, that the perceived world is myself, you know, and it's like it's like a subtle shifting of what it looks like.
Yeah.
And maybe again, maybe again, it's the problem of wanting something of an experience, but
there are no obstacles, Ananda, and all obstacles are mind induced, but they're not real obstacles. They're not real obstacles. It's like you're playing with a toy, and there is the other baby next to you playing with another toy, and you're fine with your toy, but then you look over and you see their toy, and you throw a big tantrum because now you want to play with that toy. A second ago, all was well. You're having a ball, but now you're throwing a big tantrum because you want this toy. So it's like that. I mean, it's obstacles are like that. They're like mind tantrums that are being thrown, but at the core, nothing is really being affected. But it's better not to throw the tantrums.
Are you saying then you're comparing my dissatisfaction with the appearance of a world separate from myself as a tantrum? Sort of. It's like an unnecessary first I imagine the world, and then I imagine I want to see it as myself. First I imagine it separate, then I want to bring it back. And Ramana talked about things that way quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I do see that it's my own activity, creating the whole conundrum.
Just don't argue with whatever is arising. Don't argue with anything. And lots of our arguments are mental arguments. Imagine that you go to work and there is no mental argument. What problem is there? What problem is there? Yeah, there is no problem. So this is this mental argument that creates an impression of a problem. Is it possible to sort of, as this mental argument is arising, to notice that it's just an old habit, an old me habit that still wants to throw a tantrum, and wants that similar to the tantrum that we were throwing when we were 6 months old or 8 months old or a year old or 2 years old, that we wanted to grab the other toy. It's a similar tantrum. So is it possible to just be with what is in complete impersonal way, a completely impersonal way, not seeking anything, not resisting anything, not arguing with anything, flowing like the water flows. When the stream is flowing, it hits a rock. If there is enough flow to go over the rock, it goes over the rock. If there isn't enough flow to go over the rock, it meander around the rock or the waterbed. Yes? Is it possible to be that way rather than trying to reach some great mind understanding about how to be at work and all of this and apply all what we've learned? You know, it's so much simpler. It is so much simpler to simply explore the possibility of being fluid, of being transparent, and of being impersonal, because what we are at the inherent, at our core, is completely lack-free, completely lack-free. The body may need food, shelter, and clothing, and it's supplied, it's available in one way or the other. Just to be at ease with that. And as we are at ease with that, to at the same time to be contemplating the peace, to be contemplating the well-being, that nothing is grabbing it. That is not being grabbed. Yes? It's just there in the space, being contemplated and being appreciated. There might be celebration of that, saying, wow, this is a really beautiful day. You know, I worked my butt off today. I feel like I just woke up. Not like my shoulder is up to my neck or whatever you said before. My head up to my neck, or I don't know what you said before.
Shoulders to the ears. It's a kind of an expression.
Yeah, shoulders to the ears. That doesn't sound like fun. No, I don't think I'm gonna go for that.
And then there's a magic that happens too, because I haven't missed it. I love these satsangs, and I didn't see any way out of seeing some patients this afternoon. And then I went into the office. Somebody else said, I have free time. I could love to see a couple patients. And then I was able to come out here and turn on my phone.
Beautiful. You see how beautiful? Beautiful.
It's so amazing.
Beautiful. So beautiful.
You know, and I thought, you know, I lose some income because it's per diem work, but
there is no
who
loss.
cares?
There
Who
is
cares?
there is no lose, no losing.
You know,
No
I
losing.
think
When you are following your love, there
mhm,
is no losing.
mhm, mhm, nothing to lose. Only
No losing.
only everything, and only
There is no
only
losing.
reality to gain.
When you are following the love, the beauty, that what speaks deeply at your heart, how can we speak of losing? You know, like some people, I remember, like my brother was telling me, he visited the factory, you know, in Spain. They make ladro statues, and the people who work hours and hours, they love it. They love it. They don't even notice the number of hours they're working, because there is love. There is love
Wow.
for the creation, you see.
Yes.
So
Yes.
loss and gain is not a happy dream.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
you don't want to ride into that canoe. You know, you don't want to be in that. You don't want to be in that conversation.
No, I've been in that canoe my whole life. You know, I'm just go for a backstroke. Just
Yes.
anyway, in the water. Yeah, I love the water. Now we brought in the Taoist. But thank you so much. This is so
Yeah.
wonderful.
You know, one of the first books that I was drawn to, not the first, but one of the first, was the Tao Te Ching. There was
Yes.
this large copy with beautiful photos.
Yes.
You know which version I'm talking about. And
Jane English and Leah Ching or something.
yeah,
I remember
maybe, yes. And I spent a good part of a year or two just musing over those amazing pearls of wisdom.
Oh, beautiful.
Anyways, nice talking to you, Ananda.
Thank you.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for your lovely company, and we'll see you again soon. There'll be a satsang on Sunday at 3 p.m. Okay, be well.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.